In today's video, I'm going to show you how to be able to self-host n8n as well as run it locally on your computer using GitHub as well as Render to be able to do this. So let's jump straight into the video and see how it works. So as mentioned, we're going to have the two options today around running it locally on your computer or being able to use it on the cloud. Today's video is going to be using Render. And what this means is we don't need to use n8n and trying to host it on there directly and pay for the pricing that they've got. Instead, we'll be able to run it locally on some of these other platforms as well. So let's jump straight into how we run it on our machines. So what you want to do is come into where we've got GitHub here. We want to come down to the bottom. We're going to ignore all of this for now. What you want to do is click on where we've got node.js. You want to download and install node.js. What we then want to do is come back into our file. We want to come down to the bottom. And we're going to copy and paste this and go into our terminal or command if you're using a Windows-based machine. And we're going to paste that in. So let's bring it up, terminal. We'll click open. We're going to enter n8n npx n8n. We're going to send this off. And then what we should do is get an installer that comes through. So as you can see there, we're going to do yes. We're going to come through and now it will start to install it onto our machine locally. So again, what this will mean is we won't have any cost of running it on a cloud or through n8n. We're going to run it locally for some of those maybe more lower complexity ones, or maybe ones that don't need integrations, any of the web applications or anything like that. So we'll wait for this to go through and install. It should take a little while to go through. So there we go, all installed. All we need to do is copy this and we'll come into a Brave browser. And then all we need to do is go through, click this in, and then what we need to do is go through and answer a couple of questions, and then it'll go through and set us up automatically. As you can see here, once you're logged in, all we need to do is go through and add in some information, so we can come through and do that. We'll just give it a couple of versions, so we'll do that, get started, and there we go, we'll get it all ready to go. So now we've got it all running locally, so what we'll be able to do, as you can see here, we'll be able to do steps. And then we've got all of the actions here, so we'll be all ready to go. So that's the first way of being able to run it locally. So the next stage, we're going to come through and use Render. This is one of the cloud hosted versions. We're going to come across to sign up and we're going to create an account. So there we go, all logged in. And now what we're going to do is come across and we're going to do new web service. So what we need to do is come across to existing image. We're then going to come down and where we've got this information in here, we need to get the Docker code. So where's that? Well, if we come back into our n8n documentation, as you can see here, so this is our GitHub repository. What we want to do is copy this at the end here, or if you've got access to it, just copy this and paste it straight in here. And what that will do is it will go blue on the left-hand side here, and then we're going to do connect. And what this will do is you'll just go through and try and load it. So we're going to give it a unique name. So we can do n8n MCP agent. And then what we're going to do is come down. We don't have to add this to our project if we want to. We're going to host this in the EU. Now, this is where you've got a few different options. So you've got free. So this isn't going to be completely free. But a key thing to watch of this, as you can see here, if you're not using it frequently, it's going to spin this instant down, which means that you will lose all of your work, okay? If you want to keep all of your information in the future, it's better to use some of the starter or the pro or the standard plans, just to make sure that you're keeping all of your information for the future and being able to log it and use it when you need it. And then we're going to come down to the bottom and we're just going to do deploy web service. Again, this is just the quickest way that you'll be able to do it. There's other ways, and I'll include some links below around some of the advanced features that you can go and include and set up around encryption, security, and everything in that space. But we're not going to do that for this video. This is just a quick, easy way to show you how you can run it locally on your computer as well as in a cloud hosted through the platform of Render. So we'll come back into our account. We'll just wait for this to go through and set up. So as you can see there, it's starting to spin up in the background. What we're just waiting for is a URL to pop up, and then we'll click on that and we know it's all good to go. So we're just waiting for all of this to come through. As you can see here, it's going through and doing this all automatically. Again, there's lots of different ways that you can set this up. I've included some links below around some of the other creators that have shown how to add different features, encryption, and elements like that as well. So we'll just wait for this to finish. So there we go. We know it's all accessible because if you come down to the bottom here, we've got editor is now accessible via this local port. So all we need to do is click on that. It will open us up and we'll be all authenticated and ready to go. As you can see here, we can start from scratch or we can test a ready to go example. So again, all in here, all ready to go. What this will mean is that you've got everything hosted on the cloud. Again, remember that if we come back to the pricing for a minute, if we're using the free version, it's going to stop working after around 50 seconds. And you will lose all of your work from that last moment. So it's going to wait for you to finish, wait 50 seconds, and then it will spin everything down. So if you want something to actually be running in the background, storing the information and be used in the future, that's where you're going to need to come up and use some of the more paid plans instead. So as you can see here, we've stopped using it, so it shut it down at the bottom here. So what we've done is lost all of our work. So if we come and back into our account, as you'll see, we've got no automations running. So this has been a really quick video just around how to set up your own n8n account, both to run it locally as well as run it on Render for the cloud hosting. All of the resources in the link below. Stay tuned for more around AI agents and have a great day.